Whew, my gosh. Episode 12 of Lycoris Recoil is by far one of the best episodes they have had yet. Just, my gosh, emotion, WTFs, everything all over the place. What a phenomenal episode. And we finally, unfortunately, got our point of Chisato using lethal. Now, granted, it's not at this point lethal, but still, she pulled the trigger and that was enough to really set her off. But there's so much to go through. Let's just do my usual trek through the entire episode one by one. So let's jump into it. Yes, opening up the episode, we have the fight between Chisato and Takina and Majima, which didn't take too long, but I really did like this scene because I don't know why I didn't think of it before, but yes, technically, Chisato does it, uses sound to debilitate Majima. Yes, pulling a trigger really close to somebody that can hear really well. I mean, granted, him pulling the trigger next to himself should be enough to actually hurt his ears, but he might be used to it at that point. But right next to your ear, yeah, you can close your eyes like Chisato can, but you can't close your ears. And yes, that was enough to really debilitate him, so good on Chisato. That was really cool. Like I said, unfortunately, really quick scene, but technically it's the second half to what we had in the previous episode, so it was still amazing. I mean, that little small scene at the end of it where Chisato's asking Takina, what happened with the DA? He's like, I quit. She calls her Baka. But no. Yes, the following scene was like the first really big WTF moment of this episode, and that was the takeover of the DA. Yes, while the commander's trying to figure out how to deal with the situation, somebody comes in and takes over everything. While the commander's trying to send in cleaners, this guy comes in and says, stop what you're doing, we're taking over, the higher-ups have made the decision, we're basically going to clean up your mess. And yes, one of those aspects is to completely dispose of the Lycoris. Literally, they're going to get rid of all the Lycorises, wipe them from existence, and this is going to use the Lily Bells. We finally got the introduction of the Lily Bells into the story proper, and yeah, when they said that, I was like, oh crap, are they going to get really this dark? Now, I will admit, there's a small side of me that's kind of that area of like, okay, don't act as if it's going to get dark and don't get dark, and I think they kind of do that a little bit too much in this show, so even though my heart sinks the moment I hear that they're going to dispose of all the Lycoris and they're going to use the Lily Bells to do it, yes, my mind immediately goes to, man, are they going to get that dark and have these guys come in and basically mow down all these girls, mow down Fuki, mow down Sakura and all them? Doesn't really. But at the same time, I don't know. It's not that I want them to, it's that struggle. I have this struggle constantly of I don't want it to get dark, but at the same time, I kind of want them to commit to making it dark. And so there's my struggle, obviously. But it was cool though, because of this takeover, obviously at this point, the commander goes to look over to her assistant and nods at her. The guy's like, don't move. Like, they know what she's doing. The commander at this point is like, I knew she wasn't going to let her girls die. Like, as I mentioned several times before, Lycoris are children in an orphanage, and their mother is technically the commander. And she doesn't want to see her children be massacred. So obviously, she's going to take measures in order to save them. She does eventually later on sneak her way into the bathroom and call up Mika to call out for the Lycoris to go save all of her girls, but it was still cool. I like that we finally got this moment where we do technically see the commander does, however you want to say it. She wants to save her soldiers. Does she want to save her children? Either way, she did not want to see them being taken out. Even though technically at this point does have her going against her commanders. Like, she's literally going against her orders. But yeah, this is where the emotions really ramp up. I hate Yoshi. It's official. I hate Yoshi. Yoshi is officially garbage. I do not like him whatsoever. Honestly, really struggling with his character at this point. I am really struggling with his character. They tried to explain a little bit in the scene, but yes, we have the scene between Chisato and Yoshi. And yes, Takina is basically hearing nearby. And at this point, she's checking to see if he's okay. And he's like, yes, I'm fine. Did you take out Majima? No, I didn't take out Majima. Why didn't you take him out? He did this terrible stuff to me. I'm suffering because of him. Why don't you take him out? He's trying to use emotions to control her at this point, saying that you respect and love me so much. I'm hurt. Why don't you attack? Like, this is get revenge for me, basically. She doesn't follow it. No, I'm not going to do that. What are you, Mother Teresa? I like that comment. What are you, Mother Teresa? But like I said, it tries to explain his mentality here, why he's forcing her so much to become a killer. Basically putting it as that not many people are born with a purpose. It's sort of implying that Yoshi himself feels like he has no purpose. Like, he was not born with a talent, and it seems like he's bitter because of it. Like, I was never born with some special thing, and thus his entire life is to help others show off their special thing. And it's even more frustrating when Chisato, who has this special ability, and she's not using it, it frustrates him. It's almost as if he's jealous that she has a purpose and he doesn't. And I think that's kind of where they're trying to paint Yoshi. Now, granted, my perspective, I don't think it's enough to explain that as a character logically. But again, that goes in the whole mindset and exactly what Takina says. You're insane. It's an insane person. Somebody that feels way too much value to this one thing. Maybe if later on they explain it that yes, he has some sort of mental disorder, something that makes him drive too much to something, I think would make more sense. I've technically dealt with people like that. They find value in something way too much. But so far, they're not giving it to me for Yoshi. They've so far have only really painted him as like a fanatical, like some sort of that these gifts are given by a divine being and thus you have to use it. And I wasn't given a divine being ability, so I'm mad and I want you to use yours. But no, obviously Chisato's not for this. She's like, I'm happy already. And Yoshi kind of follows this up with saying that he, if I had a purpose, I couldn't ask for anything more. I'd be happy. And she's like, I'm already happy. I'm already happy. You don't understand. Why would I be happy killing people? She wants to help others just like he helped her. And this is where Yoshi says something really kind of philosophical, and she kind of points it out too. It's just, I didn't wind up the springs of a dying doll for something like that, to save lives. I didn't wind you back up when you were dying just so you can save lives. But yes, he takes his gun back from her, puts in live ammunition, fires at her, she dodges it, and that sets off Takina. Like, from this point on, it is full-on yandere Takina. Like, I loved how crazy and emotional, honestly, like, seriously emotional that Takina gets. She lays out everything that she discovered, that he's been working with Majima, supplied them the weapons, been working with Robota, knows that he was the guy in the wheelchair, knows everything. That you messed up her heart, everything. And yes, this is where we get the reveal from Yoshi that he has decided to implant the heart into his own very chest, which congrats to him for being able to get back on his feet that quickly after having literally replacement heart surgery. But again, this is a show, fantastical. We're not going to get too much into the weeds on that one. But yes, this is the last, I guess, effort that he has to force Chisato's hand, or at least even Takina's hand. This could have been his method of saying, look, I have high hopes for you. That he could easily manipulate her if he can't manipulate Chisato. In order to get my heart and for you to survive, you have to take my life. And yeah, seems like Takina's perfectly fine with that. Takina's like, all right, cool, let's do it. But no, Chisato obviously does not want to do it. There's no way that she could possibly take the life of Yoshi as much as she adores him. But yeah, at this point, screw Yoshi. Irredeemable character, don't like him, get rid of him. But yeah, this is where we get both pretty much yandere Takina and, yes, forcing the hand of Chisato as Himegama shows up. She starts doing crazy ninja stuff, knocks out Takina out onto this steel beam. Chisato goes to help her, and then, yeah, Yoshi from above is firing at Takina, finally forcing Chisato to fire at him and gets one shot right in his chest. That scream. Takina, Chisato, their voicing roles in this entire series has been absolutely phenomenal. A later part, Takina is just, it broke my heart hearing her screams. But Chisato here, she nailed it. It sounded so much like she just did something she'd never wanted to do. This was something she's always fought against doing. And yes, it's technically the first point and the part we've been waiting for a long time of her finally pulling the trigger with lethal. Chisato goes up there, tries to, stop the wound, knows it's not lethal at the moment, says that she would never think of taking away this life from him. Even though he's still trying to hold her gun to him, she doesn't want to do it. He says that he'd done everything for her. She's like, well, I thought it was for the world. It's the same thing, apparently, in his eyes. And so she says to stay healthy for my sake. And pretty much goes to send him on his way. That's when Himegama shows up and Chisato shoots at him, and then she's like, where's Takina? Takina comes out and she's got that that look on her face like, yeah, whatever, I'm not done yet. I love Takina in this episode. But yeah, the moment she realizes Takina's here to finish them off, she's like, you guys need to run. Chisato's like, you guys need to run. Just Takina comes in, open and fire on them. But yeah, this was like, this scene hurt. Like, I literally got so teared up. It was such a powerful scene because, yes, it's the joke. It's the yandere Takina. She's freaking out. She wants to take him out. This is your heart. He just took it from you. It's right here in front of us. My chance of keeping you with me is right in front of me, and she can't reach it because Chisato's there stopping her. She's like, I can't do that. I can't live on at his expense. And it sucks because she even still at this point sees Yoshi as somebody that's above her. Basically the way that it almost seemed like she was stating it was almost her saying that I cannot feel his shoes. My life is nowhere near as worth as his. Seeing him as somebody that's going around saving lives, basically, which I would argue is what she's been doing this whole time. But it was cute because she's like, it's thanks to him. Technically, it's thanks to him that we ever met. Because if it wasn't no matter what his means, no matter what Yoshi's means were, in the end, from Chisato's perspective, because he did what he did, she got to meet Takina. Yeah, that was just seeing Takina breaking down it hurt. It hurt so bad, my girl. I don't know. I still don't think this is it. There's two sides to me. One side, I believe, again, because I don't see Yoshi recovering from replacement surgery that fast. Unless he's really struggling inside. It could be a thing where he may have gotten like somebody to make it look like he has a scar, maybe cut himself and had it stitched and not really had his heart replaced, but they left the suitcase behind. They didn't bring it with them. Now, granted, it could have been that he was leaving the hospital when he ran to Majima, but again, that's too small of a gap of time. Again, two things can happen. One, that he never took the heart. Oh, by the way, it's still in that briefcase, or here, it's right here. Or the second option that I believe is that they're going to figure out Kurumi knows who has the heart, who makes the heart. Kurumi could be contacting them. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Kurumi's like, oh yeah, by the way, I did contact the lady in case we couldn't get that one that you had in the video. She's got one. We're good. They know who makes them. Get one. But yeah, Kurumi shows up with Mizuki. They said they got a mission from Mika, which we find out later is actually the commander that gave the order. They want them to, as Lycoris, to go save all the Lycoris. And I was like, yes, yes. I knew this was coming, but I didn't think we were going to run into it right in this episode. At the same time, they're rushing in the building. You have basically Kurumi kind of guiding all the other Lycoris out of there. She's like this Pac-Man screen where it shows all the guys coming in, all the Lily Bells. And again, it's one of the struggling things is like the Lily Bells technically did find the Lycoris. Why didn't they open fire? They were there to kill everybody. They said to kill everybody and leave their bodies there. So why did they not open fire? It's kind of, that's that struggle of you have set up a dire situation and you're not following through. If you're going to set up a dire situation, don't let the Lily Bells literally have them at gunpoint. Again, small issue within an entire series that I love, but still it is a frustration. We also did find out that the reason why Chisato had attacks from the Lily Bells and why she never did later on was because apparently Mika and the commander figured out something, or at least negotiate with them so they'd stop. But yeah, I like that when they first come in there and save Fuki. Where you get Chisato like jumps on the guy's head. It has 1 foot on the guy's head and 1 foot on his arm and just shooting down at him. I was like, dang, right on top of this big old buff guy. But no, it was like that whole aspect of like technique versus muscle as these two girls just take out these big old guys. And yeah, sure enough, Fuki's about to take out one of them and Chisato's like, stop. It was great. But yeah, Kurumi ends up taking down Robota, calls him into the police, and then basically gets into Ratiata and fixes that system and then takes it over in order to cover up all the news and everything, sends out this bogus report saying that essentially this was all a new coming attraction, the Lycoris something, and that everybody, I hope you'll all come see the attraction. So she basically covered up everything, and this led to the guy that was taking over the commander to kind of just go, all right, peace out. And then the commander just takes back over. It was kind of like this very casual, I guess everything's good, and then just leaves. Like, okay, well, you covered it up. All right. It almost as if, I don't know, it was weird because the part of me believes it's because things got settled. They don't care. Like, oh, well, less trouble for us, and they go to leave. At the same time as well, you have Chisato walk in front of the Lily Bells. And so I almost wonder if it's one of those aspects that even to them, the higher-ups, Chisato is important. Again, the last time we seen the higher-ups talk to the commander, it was them calling in to say, where's Chisato? Like, they're all obsessed with Chisato's capabilities. And it seems like they all want her, but they can't have her. So I think them noting that she was there and the fact that the situation is technically covered, he's like, let's not press it. Get out of there, and they leave. It makes me really curious as to what's going to happen in the next episode. Obviously, we have them, once again, Chisato's face-to-face with Majima. They might have a quick battle between the two of them, but I'm curious how they're going to wrap things up regarding that whole situation. It does, once again, leave the door open for a sequel, which I'm perfectly open to. But yeah, with everything wrapped up, everybody's going to leave. Had this cute little moment with Erika once again. Erika mentioned, or at least somebody else mentioned the idea that Erika technically didn't get kicked out of the DA because they kicked out Takina instead. She does acknowledge that. It was a cute little moment between the two of them. Additionally, having Chisato basically say, hey, Fuki, what kind of uniform color do you want? What are you talking about? Well, you just disobeyed orders, so you're probably going to need a place to work. So I don't know, maybe we'll open up at some point and having Lycoris and Fuki's there serving people. But no, it wraps up with Chisato seeing her bag, running out there. Majima comes stepping by, fires the other ones to separate them, and Majima versus Chisato moment. And I think what's going to happen at this point, we're probably going to have a little bit of a shootout. I don't know. I think at this point, Majima and Chisato's probably got it out of their system. I think, honestly, Majima still wants to fight Chisato. Like, he still sees her as a rival, but at the same time, he also has offered up to her to be a partner. He might offer that once again, but I think what we're going to get from Majima at the beginning of the next episode is he's going to reveal what happened to the briefcase. Where's the heart? Because he did take the briefcase from Yoshi. He knows what's going on with that situation. He would probably be the one of any of them to say, by the way, let you know, Yoshi didn't take that heart. He just cut himself. It's in that briefcase. Go get it. It's the old tower. But I have this button that will blow up the tower, so you better do what I want you to do. Probably something like that. I don't know. At this point, I really don't think they're going to take out Chisato. There's too many opportunities here. Like I said, there's the opportunity that Yoshi might still die. Yoshi takes his own life. They know who the lady is that make the heart. And I think they've kind of faked out this a little bit too long. I still believe that. I just don't know that this is the direction that the writer wants to go. Because I think at this point, the way that everything is kind of played out, Takina is going to be devastated if Chisato ends up dying in the end. There's going to be so much regret built around her allowing Yoshi to get away, not getting the heart, not being fast enough, not being there. Yes, the counterbalance is Chisato and her words that she can't take his place and that she's enjoyed her time. She was supposed to die a long time ago. All those kind of things are probably countering it, but I don't know. I think everything's kind of pointed at this point that I don't think the writers, they're willing to do that. If they weren't willing to allow, at least one of the main crew of the DA, like Fuki, Sakura, Erika, to have died, to not have had all those Lycoris mowed down by the Lily Bells, I don't think they're willing to let Chisato die. If they're not willing to do that, I don't think they're gonna do it with Chisato. But I don't know. We'll see. Next week is gonna be insane, and I don't know if I'm ready for it. I don't know if I'm ready for it. I think Kurumi's gonna find the Heartmaker. I'm convinced. But anyways, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think it's Yoshi didn't do it and it's still in the box? Do you think they're just going to find the Heartmaker? Do you think Chisato's going to die? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news reviews, first impressions, top lists. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, episode by episode impressions of Lycoris Recoil. If you have not checked them out, go check out the other episodes. I've had a lot of fun covering this show. I love all the feedback as well from the comments. Somebody pointed out, yes, that's technically the ring formation that Takina had told Chisato about. 3 rings, and then ring once more to say that I'm coming. I remember the 3 ring part, but I didn't remember the 1. But additionally, yes, the issue is that not every phone physically vibrates the way that you're hearing the tones on your end, but that's fine. Again, overthinking things. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. I greatly appreciate everybody that supports us, no matter what you do, and y'all take care.